Well, thank you for joining us again as we get ready for the sixth and final lesson of this 3Rs year. The last lesson is devoted entirely to career counseling for our students. It kind of bookends the curriculum year with the first lesson where we really started encouraging the students to explore what their interests are and what their career goals might be. Hopefully we've seen a lot of progress on those checklists and the different steps that students have taken, but this is an opportunity to sort of review and recap. We write these lessons to be applicable to a broad range of students throughout the Cleveland Metropolitan School District and the East Cleveland schools. And within those districts, there are a variety of different specialized classrooms and specialized schools. And so by the time you've arrived at lesson 6, you know a lot more about your students and what their track is generally going to be in their career aspirations. And so we've intentionally written lesson 6 to have a lot of content and resources for our volunteers, not with the idea that you're necessarily going to go through every last bit of that curriculum, but with the idea that you can pick and choose which modules of the curriculum are going to be the most relevant to your students. For example, if you're in a school where maybe there's more going on with respect to vocational training, you might emphasize those components and de-emphasize some of the other financial aid or scholarship kind of components. We also note that there's a lot of new information in the curriculum this year regarding the Say Yes to Education program and the exciting opportunities that brings to our students in the Cleveland schools, but may not apply to students in the East Cleveland schools. So be sensitive to where the curriculum is marked for which students the information might be applicable to. But generally, we walk through a variety of different career counseling related materials, from revisiting those issues about helping students find their passion and seeing maybe if that passion has evolved from when we met them in November to when we're doing this lesson in April or May. We take a look at other items, thinking about what schooling do we need to do to get to those career dreams and passions that we've identified. We talk about how do you select a school to get you into that training, and what are the things that you can be doing now as a junior or senior in high school to help make your application ready so that you can get accepted into that school of your dreams. And finally, we give some additional components about developing a resume so that they can seek employment or internships during the course of the coming summer or during their senior year. And we also give them other resources to use to think about financial aid to help them get over that hurdle of the idea that maybe I just can't afford to go to college, to help them know that there are resources out there that are available to help them get there.
You talked about bookends, and that's really true here. When we first appear for our 3Rs classes, we provide them with the 3Rs folder that has nothing in it. And then they add, as we make each visit, they add the student worksheets and other handouts. And I have found that this lesson is really, really good in terms of providing resources. They may not have a question at that moment because maybe they're not at that point in applying or looking that far ahead, but they will need that information later. So I always tell the kids, make sure you keep these handouts, because there are a lot of really great handouts that address all the things you talked about. So if they forget or they're just not interested at the time, they can always go back, keep that folder at home, pull it out when you need it and you're looking for financial aid, because it provides a lot of good guidance about how to get financial aid and all the other questions that you touched upon. The other thing I want to mention is that at the very end, make sure you save, we don't do Jeopardy at the end of the last lesson, but what we do is get the opinions of the students about all of the lessons that we've done and what they liked, what they didn't like, and we've made changes over the years because of that very, very valuable feedback.
So thank you again for being a part of this program and for the work you do on behalf of the Bar Association and on behalf of our students. And we also hope to see you at our end-of-year social event to recognize our volunteers and recognize our Teacher of the Year. It should be a fun evening of celebration and fellowship regarding this wonderful program.
Thank you again for volunteering and for making a difference in the lives of the students you touch.